I'm not trying to do but it's not sure. It's just a guy with the car. It's just not a shirt. It's right here. And they had. I saw it somewhere. And put your collar on. Or even just Oxford shirt underneath. I've met these folks.
Everybody go.
So. Beautiful bed. Is that right? That's how are you? I never had that. A whole person. What do you need? Anything? He's over there. I think he's out this way. It's okay. Just all that. Okay. YouTube. You must. Hey, you're like, that's me. That's one. I will give you because we had to do our. Here comes a man with mega one.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 23rd, 2025 Blytheville Board of Directors monthly meeting. Today is the first meeting of the year. As we often start our meetings remembering our why. Nothing is more important than our children that attend the Blytheville School District and the community, teachers and staff, all the resources that support them being great. I'll call this meeting officially to order at this time. It's 6:04 p.m. and I will establish the quorum at this time. Ms. Lewis.
Right.
Ms. Langston.
Present.
Ms. Bogart.
Here.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Ms. Wells. And Ms. Nichols and Mr. Jefferson are here. We will now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we follow the agenda as it is printed. We now move down to our information and reports section. A, Education Directions Project Manager, Mrs. Jacqueline Bird. Let's go.
Good evening, everyone. It is so good to be back in Blytheville with you again. And I wanted to just bring you an update, as this is my first week back on the ground since the contract was awarded to Education Directions. So I want to give you just a brief update. The team has been on the ground this month. 3 of our 4 coaches attended the January 2nd professional development. The 4th coach will be on the ground next week, as well as 2 of the other coaches that will be coming back in to work with your schools. As you know, the weather kind of permitted us from coming back and forth for a little while, but we're very determined to get back here, so they're coming back. Just to share a brief update about some of the findings. Yesterday I started actually, and I was able to go out, the meeting with the district with Ms. Blankenship. I was able to go out after that to visit one of the elementary sites. Today I did elementary, middle, high. I'll be back at elementary again tomorrow. Just to share some of the things. And here's what I want to say, keep an open mind, but trust the process. We're about making sure that we can support the work that you have going on, because you have other entities that are here, such as TNTP, you have your state teams that are here, your literacy coaches. And we're here to be an arm of service to you and your children in this school district. But the reason I want you to keep an open mind, because what we see is we're going to be very, very honest with you, because that's the only way we can help you. Okay. So some of the things I'm going to tell you right off the front that I see the district overview is systems and structure. And your systems and structure must be aligned in order for us to move student achievement forward. That's a big gap. We had a discussion about it yesterday. It's going to be work over time. You didn't get in this position yesterday, last week, last month. Okay, so don't think you're going to fix this position tomorrow, next week, next month. It is work over time, but we have to recognize what is happening, and then we have to find the problem, ask why, and then we have to find a resolution to fix it. Classroom instruction. I'm going to be very honest. Where the rigor should be for classroom instruction at this point is what we're not seeing, but that's what we have to work on. Those are things we need to see. At this time of the year, we should see the pacing further along, the rigor further along. And today I was on site with the district coaches, and I believe we had the state representative with us. And I believe we all saw the same thing. It was the same thing. So we have to do that. And we also need to start thinking about next year. This is the time you start planning. So my questions were, are we doing master scheduling right now? Have we started? We don't wait until the school year is about to open doors to children to start the process going forward. So we have a big job ahead of us. We're committed to the job. We're committed. We're coming alongside of you to do the job. Can we do the job? Yes. We have to get the platform. You have to trust the process, and you have to allow those of us that are coming in to do the work. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm very honest, and I'm going to be very direct. You may hear some grumbles. You may hear some complaints, but hard work is not easy. So trust the process. When we make recommendations to your superintendent, the superintendent will bring recommendations to you. There's going to be some tough decisions that have to be made, but you make decisions with children in mind. That's where it should start. That's where it should end. So every day we're looking and we're talking about problems, we're talking about solutions, we're thinking about how do we solve this for children. It's going to be a process. It's not going to be a year-long process. This could take you 3 to 5 because you want the work systemic. When I met with Mrs. Blankenship this afternoon, I said, if you see a big jump from now and then you celebrate, that always gives me pause, because if you had a big jump, you're going to have a big fall. It is not systemic enough. So If you have questions for me, I'm here. When I'm here, I will be here every month. Coaches are coming in and out and they're working with principals. The principals have been fabulous. They've been receptive. And let me tell you, they want the work. They want the support. They're asking for support. They want to know, how do I help the children? How do I get better? What do I need to do? So when things come to you as a board of what we need and things we need, trust us. You're going to get some calls, I'll tell you that. I'm a former superintendent, so I understand how it works. But people are not going to like what's happening. People are in my classroom. We have to be in the classroom. We have to make calls. We have to have a conversation and we have to give feedback. It is not always positive, but we're going to be there to support and help.
Thank you so much. Any other board have any questions for Ms. Bird? Great.
Thank you.
Summary and update. Glad you guys are here on the ground.
Yes.
Anything you need, please contact Ms. Blankenship, and the board will be very supportive of the work that needs to be done.
We appreciate working with you and we're looking forward to the journey where we're going to be on the other side of this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next, we have the student enrollment data.
Just to give you an update, good evening, everyone. To give you an update where we are at 179 students enrolled in the district. Our first grade, sixth grade, and it looks like our 10th grade are ahead of what was projected. This is the third quarter, and this is what counts in our ADM, if I'm not mistaken.
For state funding, yes.
State funding, yes.
Quarter average 80.
We've actually had some students come in this week, so you will see an increase or uptick in students. Sometimes it happens after the Christmas break. So I just wanted to keep you up on our current student enrollment as of right now.
What was it when we started the school year?
When we started the school year?
1,254.
50 something.
We're up slightly.
Up slightly.
Barely.
Yes.
But that's normal because the kindergarten doesn't fully populate until usually the third.
In your packet, you also had a report of your board training hours. You guys, as a board from December to the year of 24, have a total of 208 hours, 208.5 hours. So if you look in your packet, you have your updated hours of what you've done for your training. You also have in their paperclip your statement of financial interest that you have to fill out. You have a special clip on it that says with the Chickasaw head, and behind it are the instructions or directions in case you for guidance since last year what to do, and you have until the 31st to get that to the does everyone see that in their packets? Okay. I'll put a special clip just to make sure you could pull it out and take it with you. This is also School Board Member Appreciation Month. Hope you enjoyed your dinner from the district this evening. It was prepared by Chartwell, but I guess Mr. Miller may have assisted with that. I'm not sure, but I hope you enjoyed it. If our principals will stand up from each building and they'll tell you what's on the tables in front of you. You have a green box that is also from Chartwell.
So you have a Bundy paint in front of you. It does have our mission and vision on it. We just established our vision, which is now navigate opportunities and winning. So we wanted you to have a piece of that and be a part of our vision.
Thank you. From Blytheville Primary School, we wanted you all to have a keepsake. So that picture frame that's there, to show our appreciation along with the little maroon bag, just little treats in there and say, we appreciate you.
From the high school in Chickasaw Academy, Davis and I put together the maroon bag, and it is chicken salad and a cupcake. I know we love food, so you would like a little something and also a dessert. And the lady that made the chicken salad? What's her business name?
Brooks and Treats.
Brooks and Treats. Okay, sure, okay. So I hope you all enjoy.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking with you the trip. Thank you. This came in the mail, I think, yesterday. And so somebody gets an award. Mr. Hammond, has your name on. It says, on behalf of the Arkansas School Board Association, I'm delighted to extend my heartfelt congratulations on you earning the ASBA Pinnacle Board Member Award for achieving over 200 hours of training. Somebody get this picture with his award.
Be my good side.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's.
Okay, thank each and every one of you, the building principals and your teams for the beautiful gifts. We will have a 3-hour drive to enjoy chicken salad, and Mr. Miller, thank you for the steaks. We'll be full. Thank you all. We'll now move down to our action items. I will read each action item as printed, and I'll ask for further information or discussion on the action item. Action item A, the December 5th special meeting. Any further information or discussion? Action item B, December 16th, special meeting, the tour to Blytheville Elementary. Any further information or discussion? Action item C, the December 16th special meeting. I will entertain a motion to approve action items A, B, and C at this time.
I move that we would accept action items A through C.
There a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve action items A, B, and C. All in favor of approving action items A, B, and C, please signify by raising your right hand at this time. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Action item D, the financial report. We had check register sent.
You had the check registry sent, and also you had a spreadsheet where Ms. Southern took the information of each category and she gave you a total. So you have the check registry to see everything and this financial report. And then just so you can see the balance in each fund that's also available for you as well.
I'll entertain a motion to approve action item D if there's no further information or discussion.
I make a motion to accept action item D.
I have a second. Motion and a second. All in favor of approving action item D, the financial report, please signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Action item E, cardonic scheduling software, information that has been included in our packet. Do you have any further information or discussion there?
Ms. Burton was talking about master schedules, and this is scheduling software for the 6th through 12th grade. Students can slight deviation. We're working on next year's database setup. That'll be in mid-February. We've already got an email out for if there's any particular changes to master schedules. That's already been sent out. And as soon as you approve the calendar, which is a component of the master schedule, then we will have that also so that we can do our next year database setup. Once that's set up, we can start scheduling for next year. So we plan on having that completed mid-February. I have to get an appointment with the co-op to do that.
Any further information or discussion on cardonic scheduling software? Thank you, Mr. Jenkins.
We used previously, Mr. Jenkins.
Last year, Cardano's also.
Okay.
I'll entertain a motion to approve action item E, cardonic scheduling software.
Accept action.
I have a motion. I have a second.
I second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor of approving Cardonic scheduling software? Action item E, please signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries unanimous. Action item F, audio upgrade for BPS, the multipurpose building in the Blytheville Middle School cafeteria and the Blytheville High School auditorium. Any further information to be brought and presented to the board about this, Mrs. Blankenship?
Mr. Jenkins provided you guys with some quotes that we got, but if you have been, you've been in multipurpose building back this summer, we had a lot of issues with the sound when we had that big meeting, and it hasn't gotten any better. The middle school cafeteria does not have any sound system any longer. I think it lasts a few minutes and then it goes out. And then if you've been in the high school, we've had some issues where even with our choir and things like that, we brought in a different type of system. So just to upgrade everything and get us some better sound. You want to go through the quotes you have?
We did receive 2 quotes, had 2 walkthroughs. No one else entertained to even look at it. Both of them were from Arkansas. The first group was the Curtis Stout, the one with the red on it. All 3 of them together is $67,732. The next quote from the other vendor was $129,640 for the same thing. So I went with the 67. Is the one I'm asking.
Both quotes
You
are
did.
the same.
Because I did the walkthrough for both of them.
Yes.
And they had the exact same walkthrough for both of them. I don't vary any, so.
Let's do something serious. All right,
Yeah, I might need to take a look, I'm not sure that document was in my packet that was sent emailed to me. But I'm a little concerned that unless we did we get a bid? Or just
That
quotes?
is the quotes from the 2.
I mean, did we put it out for bids, like public advertisement for bids?
Was it publicized on the website is what he's asking, Mr. Jenkins, yes, that needs to be done first.
We just got with the vendors that would do it, so. I called about 8 different vendors that do the sound systems. Sound systems are like HVAC. You can't just get anybody to do it. Because it has to do with directional alignment and a whole bunch of stuff that I have nothing about. There's only 2 that entertain.
Are we going to, Mr. President, are we gonna, accept that tonight? I mean, is that on there for us to accept that tonight?
this man is listed as one of our action items.
Okay, well, I agree with Mr. Coleman, before we try to put a motion on the floor, maybe before we come into some problems later on. And being transparent, and I think that we need to continue on to follow the process as we've been doing.
We may need to, I would feel more comfortable if you wait to the next, if it will wait until the next meeting, because I want to make sure there are exceptions if there's only, for example, the Cardonics was under 20,000. So there's no problem with that. But anything under over 20,000, statute says we're supposed to do bids unless it's an emergency or if it's a situation where only, there's like if you were wanting to buy Microsoft software, Microsoft only makes that software. You've been using it for years and we were going to do an update and it was 25,000. You would be okay to go to Microsoft to buy that because they're the only one that make that software. But when you've got other choices, you're supposed to bid it under the statute if it's over $20,000, which, and I just sent Ms. Blankenship that in connection with another issue, the statute, and I can provide it to all the board members, but we've got and that's to be distinguished from board policy 7.5 that all of you have access to, it's on the website. That requires the approval of the board if anything's over $21,600 and is defined as a commodity, and commodity also includes services. So I just think I would feel more comfortable. And I think the board would feel more comfortable. Let me take another study at that, maybe talk with Mr. Jenkins. And it may be that this would fall under that exception that would allow us, because if there's only, I know we would be okay if only one person, or there was only one supplier, but since there's two, and they may, may end up at the same result, we may just have to bid it and then submit their same bids over again. And if nobody else bids, then you can decide between those two.
Yeah, well, like you said, we are all familiar with what you just said, because that's what I was saying. It took a little longer and explain it into detail to the board members. But I'm quite sure as a board member, they should know that policy as well and go back and think. We just want to be transparent, and then we have to follow the process that the board has taken. And it has adopted, Mr. Hammond, and me, in your life, you know that. So you did exactly. We need to table that, or just maybe until we could do it, and next month, maybe, if it's not an emergency. Like you said, other than that, that's the only stipulation that the law requires. And right now, it's not an emergency.
Thank you, Ms. West. Thank you, Mr. Coleman. I'll entertain a motion to table action item F for further clarification.
I make a motion to take action on that.
I second. Got a motion in a second. All in favor for tabling action item F, audio upgrade?
Mr. President, I also want to remind the board members of our training. When we accept different action items or whatever items, it need to be spoke as well. We shouldn't say action item A, B, and C, for the record purpose. We know that. Remember the training? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I would say the action item F, audio upgrade, and I will.
Oh, yes, if you do, yes, if the person making the motion do not do that, then you do, yeah, I agree.
We have a vote on the floor at this time. All in favor of taking action item F, the audio upgrade, please signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries.
Can I ask a whole question?
Yes. Yes.
Who was our previous company that we were with?
Well,
Yes.
that hasn't been done for the past 15, 16 years.
So it's been that long since the sound equipment's been installed.
When they put the new projector in the auditorium at the high school, that's when it was done. And that was like 2010, 2011.
It's time for a upgrade. And it's needed, but it's like I said, we're gonna have a problem with the board. And I appreciate Mr. Hammond and Mr. Coleman and myself, and just reminding us what we need to be, take a look at it and take.
We're gonna move down to action item G, all to class the ELL student support, $2,999. Further information or discussion on this service?
Ms. Flagship, I'm not.
Off the
I'm
class.
Yeah,
It's for our ELL, our non-English speaking students, is to give them some extra
Oh,
support,
okay.
because we can have students coming in when they speak, English. So we're getting extra support for them.
Have we, at this time, it's needed from your instructors when you have your cabinet meeting with them.
It's needed just to have something that everybody can use besides Google Translate things on our phones, and constantly, we're trying everything we can, and this was probably be the best thing. You want to share some more information?
Like, we just had 2 more Portuguese students come in. This software also allows the teacher themselves to assign something to the student. So right now, with the iPads and the translation software, they can't really assign anything to the kids besides the normal curriculum. This will assign curriculum in the ELL. I just wanted you to be aware of it. It falls well under the pricing threshold, I know, but I wanted you to be aware of what we're trying to do for the ELL students.
No further information or discussion on action item G, all to class ELL student support for $2,999. I'll entertain a motion for action item G.
We accept action item G, up to class.
A second.
There's been a motion and a second. All in favor of action item G, offer class ELL student support, please signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries unanimous at this time. Action item H, E-rate proposal information. Further information or discussion?
It's in our package.
It is. It's about firewalls and licensing and switching and everything, related to technology. Just to explain more detail so that you guys can understand what all of those languages, all those things mean.
So E-rate is given by the FCC, the federal government, and it's for 5 years. This is the application year for the last year of the funding that's left for us. Funding cannot be spent until July 1st of this. You know, it actually is the next school year is when it has to be spent. I gave you a little like one sheet paper. For E-rate, the federal government picks up 85% of our bill. We have to pick up the 15%. We do that with Ritter for the intercommunications that we do right now for all the schools. That interconnect for all the schools is $54,000 a year. We only pay $9,666. So with the remaining E-rate funding, which we have $288,442.05, the E-rate is put out to bid through E-rate, through the federal government. So RFP was already done. I get the bids back in, evaluate them for what they are. There's a score sheet. I have to evaluate them, and then we select the one that's best for us. So the one that was best for us, and I'll actually have, you should have all of them, but that it's $285,071.89.
With 85% of this being picked up.
85%, federal government will pick up $242,311 of that. We would owe the $42,760. And what is the, and I believe you have the whole packet and it says everything that's going to be replaced. If you remember this last year, we replaced the servers because they were very aged. So we have all the new servers in place, but now you're talking about the switches, the access points that let you have Wi-Fi in all the classrooms and things like that. Last time they were replaced was before 2015. And if you know anything about technology, after about 5 years, it's out of date. So those are well out of date. Category 2 funding is very specific with the FCC of what you can spend it. So everything that's on that quote is what can be spent for.
Thank you for that information. Any other questions or?
Just a point of clarity. So this was bid. It was just bid through the government.
It's bid through the federal government. Yeah.
Okay.
So they have to approve everything. But then it comes to you after the federal government approves it, for you to approve it, because we have a portion. Then once you approve it, I can get a contract from the vendor and then that will have to be signed.
And one other question, I'm sorry, asking you this form, but did you,
470 and 471 are the form numbers for the.
did you check it, just like a belt and suspenders, I guess is what I'm looking for. Are they, I want to clarify, you're allowed to avoid the bidding process if you use that tip taps program, if they're an approved vendor. And so I think this is probably I think it's probably going to be okay. In a perfect world, I'd like to compare this process against our statute, because I want to make sure it complies with both state and federal law. But, so if it can wait until if this is something that'll wait until the next
Wait
meeting.
till the next one. I mean, because we can't do anything with it until July 1st.
Okay, if it'll wait till the next meeting.
And I can connect you with our CRW consultant that does our Uber.
I would just rather make sure it's done right the first time. So if you can do that, vote on it, I'll try to get it figured out before the next meeting. I suggest you table it.
I'll entertain a motion to table action item H for further clarification. Bro, next
I move
meeting.
that we table action item H, E-rate proposal information, hopefully it affects February monthly meeting or whenever it's all taken care of.
Do I have a
A
second?
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of tabling action item H, E-rate proposal information for further clarification to the February 2025 meeting, please signify by raising your right hand.
I think you said I or H.
He said, we on the E-rate proposal
Our
information.
agenda is off one.
Oh. What is your facial gesture, Mr.
The
Miller?
motion carries unanimous. We'll move down to action item I. The 1,003 grants, Flowers Primary, Elementary, Chickasaw Preparatory Academy, and Blytheville Middle School.
Dr. Smith,
All
the
right.
1003.
So the 1003 grants are federal funds that are provided to schools who are struggling academically. And the schools do a needs assessment to determine how they can best use these funds, which is required. They submit, based on their needs, what will be able to meet those areas. And those are the proposals that you see that are there. The companies that are here, many of these are companies that actually sell the curriculum. They can come in and help do trainings on how to teach this best, how this needs to be done, and it focuses more on instruction. The building principals are here. If you have any specific questions in regards to any of the vendors, it does have to meet certain guidelines, and as was stated earlier, the trainings have to be in the classroom and have to be in the school, so you don't lose any instructional time, and you know, it targets those kids that need the help. And it also helps support the teacher. So it has to meet those guidelines, and so we review it. It wouldn't be in your folder if we didn't think it was okay. And then it goes to the State Department. And then they will review it, and if it's not, or missing something, or if it's not okay with federal programs, they will send it back. I promise you, they won't let anything go that doesn't meet the guidelines.
They send it back, you get to correct it, and this was only for, the lower grades, primary.
And also,
elementary, middle school.
it has to be, and you got the ones, I mean, it's for instructional materials and for trainings, like I said, with the curriculum, and in anything that's $10,000 and above, the board has to approve. We won't bring to you, we need to buy a box of pencils or something, so.
I have a
Federal
question,
grant, so that's why.
Okay,
Mr. President, I have a question to Dr. Smith. You mentioned about the training will be in service in the classroom.
Actually, it's training in the classroom on how to use things and how to do things.
At this point, can you tell me, will it require the principals or whoever your facilitators or whoever to require other trainings otherwise? You know, as far as being familiar with this grant?
Oh, you mean will the principals be involved with it?
I know the principal should be involved with it. I said, as far as, will there be, at this point, can you say there'll be training anywhere else? Like, there was a team went to Miami.
Oh, no. This is actually gonna be in our schools, in our classrooms.
That's what I'm asking.
Yes, ma'am.
And speaking of that, I have a question, may I ask? On this training that, it was a group that went to Miami, last week.
Ms. Lewis, I'm sorry to cut you off. real
Oh, it's
quick.
on the agenda, but
We can get to that.
later on her,
Yes,
okay, well, that's the
We
question.
got two more action items.
Okay,
and-
that's the question I got right here. I need some presentation of that meeting to see.
We can prepare for
Okay.
February.
We've received information on the 1003 grant. No further information, or discussion, or any more information or questions on the grant.
I have a quick question. So this training, when would it take place? Is it gonna take place in our
Well, the-
professional development days?
Oh, no, this would actually take place inside the regular school days. So we won't be pulling teachers out, and actually the building principals here can tell more because they've talked to the companies, so.
Can we hear that, please, just briefly, who has knowledge of that? Or if y'all
So-
aware, did you say?
For some of those PDs, the dates have already been set, and because we keep prolonging it, we have missed some of those days, so we're gonna have to reschedule. So the sooner we can get it approved, they can start to work in our buildings with our teachers and us.
And this is basically just to facilitate the programs we've already paid for, teaching our teachers how to best use and to teach.
It's to give them more time because each building, the primary, the elementary and the middle school, they were allotted X amount of dollars based on their student enrollment. And it will be giving them more days because, you know, they charge it by the day. And it will be bringing it, they will not be taking them out of class and sending them anywhere. I mean, it's gonna be right there on site.
But yes, it's what we use, really great reading, McGraw-Hill, those types of things. So it's,
So they're
Just
gonna
bring
be
it in.
basically helping them get some of the things that we don't have time to get done during the day, like breaking down the standards, the learning targets and different things like that, that we need assistance on because we're working on tier one instruction, and we don't always get to the standards piece, which is what they need in passing the Atlas. So that's what they're helping us with.
I would like to bring this to the board's attention. If you look at the packet and some of the information, it
On that
clears,
same, on that,
Yes,
on
ma'am.
that same action.
yes,
that
ma'am.
I-
It clarifies what happens in the model and instruction of what the grant covers. Some of the services and support that's through those programs.
Okay, we have time, I will. I'm quite sure we can, you know, look at all this tonight or whatever. It's easy to be said, you know, what I'm saying, that's why we have questions, because we don't know. Yeah,
So any further information or discussion on action item I, the 1003 grants? If no further information, I'll entertain a motion to approve action item I, 1003 grants, BPS, BES, CPA, and Blytheville Middle School.
Make a motion that we accept action item I, 1003 grants.
Do I have a
Second.
I have a second. All in favor of approving action item I, the 1003 grants, Blytheville Primary, Elementary, Top Preparatory, and Blytheville Middle, please signify by raising your right hand. Motion carries unanimous. We'll now move down to action item J, Ms. Blankenship.
this is the public school waiver request. We've asked to do one of these, so we've done this, we've gotten the information we need to submit to the state.
I have a question, who actually submitted this? You said we were at the state,
Yes.
okay. So I'm quite sure we looked at all this in the package and everything, but. Ms. Lewis, Lewis, all of us, y'all have any questions about that? I'm quite sure, have everyone had a chance to read that? It was a lengthy,
Whatever waivers they have, we get the same waivers.
whatever way the state did.
Okay. Is there any more information or discussion on action item J, the waiver for request for superintendent? I'll entertain a motion to.
Before you entertain a motion, I would say, I don't have a problem, I viewed it and I appreciate you got it as soon as we could, Mr. Anderson, even though you all was on y'all little retreat. But I had some questions. I think as far as, it's not evaluation of Mrs. Blankenship at this time. But, I'm just concerned that, I want to make sure that the interim superintendent, Mrs. Blankenship, is covering a lot of, areas that, that we can see that's going on as far as the behavior, the grades. I want to make sure that the curriculum directors, instructor facilitators, and the reading and math coaches to study the literacy, math, and science data. Do you have meetings with your cabinet and have those literacy, math and science people in that meeting that you have? Do you have that weekly or monthly or whatever?
Yes.
Ms. Williams, can I would
Every
hate to,
day.
I would hate to defer that question right now during our action items. I would like to proceed, and once we get done with the action items out for any other further business and those questions. We
Go
have
back to some
go
of these
back to- yes, ma'am.
items. When we start?
tonight when I said we would follow the agenda.
You know why? I know why. But it's important for these board members to make sure before they sit up in here and accept action items, all these waivers and all that, you know, it's but I know my opinion about Mrs. Blankenship, but I just want to make sure it's her teachers and principals and her facilitators and all those are up on this, what we need to do.
If we need to go into executive session, we can share those opinions at that time for the personnel as well as you know that.
Go ahead.
I would,
Go ahead.
I would entertain a motion for action item J, waiver request for superintendent.
I make a motion that we accept waiver request for superintendent action item J.
I have a motion. We have a second. All in favor of action item J, the waiver request for superintendent, please signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. No vote. Vote.
Abstain is no.
Okay.
I didn't say abstain and no, Mrs. Johnson. Yes, I agree.
Okay, a motion carries unanimous. Okay, we'll now move down to action item K, the 25-26 school calendar recommendation.
From the recommendation from the Personnel Policy Committee. Well, actually, first, if you, in your packet, you have two calendars. You have one, you should have two. They're not,
Is there any changes since Mr. Hammond moving on, we're trying to move on, is there any changes?
I gave you the two choices from the Personnel Policy Committee. They recommended the year-round calendar, which is the one that has us starting in July. And that is also the recommendation that I am bringing before the board.
It's also the recommendation by the
Personnel Policy Committee.
That we
To do year-round?
The year-round.
Start
Yes.
in July, have a 2
It won't be the
A 2
early
week
release
spring break.
Wednesdays, it's the year-round.
They don't.
in March 26. To bring.
year round, that we would
Go
through summer.
They will still have 7 weeks off in the summer. So we'll have an earlier start time. Hopefully, we won't lose as much learning loss during the summer
What's the start time, when is that?
in July.
In July.
15.
Yes, July 15.
You may tell me you going these teachers, everybody wanna go back to school in July 15.
It's two different ones.
Is that?
Yeah, you have the year-round calendar, that's the one that starts in July. And then the other one starts in August.
This is the recommendation.
The
of
recommendation of the PPC, the year-round, and also my recommendation.
All year round.
Yes.
That's the year recommendation.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
So,
and then we still have a 7 week summer. Yes,
and you have a 2 week spring break, March.
2 weeks.
yes.
Yeah, they always have.
Mm.
Maybe, if they have all that, we can keep the team.
We have the,
You've got some.
we have the two calendars before us for it. If there's any questions or discussion or any further information that Ms. Blankenship can clarify on the calendars, please review those calendars at this time. And I will entertain a motion to accept the year-round schedule with the start date of July 15th.
So this is the year round ones and what do you call this other one?
The traditional.
Now, that's fair.
That's the, no, the 24th.
If y'all had said that in the beginning, you know, thanks.
The 17th is staff development for teachers.
I have had some feedback just from business owners about the Wednesday day and it is problematic for them keeping their staff working because they're picking up kids and they don't know when. And it's just a hard scheduling wise. So I think that's good. Do something different than that. But either of these calendars solve that problem.
Yes, yes.
And the 2 weeks that I've noticed here, spring break, that's good because that way we can keep the teachers here in attendance instead of having to have a sub.
Yes, sir.
Right, we hope that.
And I agree with that.
Yes.
The small note, the students start on July 24th. Teachers are.
Teacher inserts.
Teacher inserts on the
Yeah,
sixth.
Where the little red bracket is, that.
when I say start.
Any other
The
questions?
recommendation is,
Another question?
I had a question. Can you, I guess, just briefly tell me the benefits you see in the year round versus the traditional calendar?
One of the things mentioned from the PPC was that, the amount of breaks that you get in between. And they've discussed how this year's been hard. Early release has been difficult on some of the teachers too, because they have kids they have to get and just struggling and rushing, trying to get through the day. They think that this would also be a good retention piece to keep teachers, we're not doing the 4-day, but you get these breaks periodically every month. So that was one of the pieces they looked at. And then also during the summer, because we also struggle when we get back, when we give those first assessments to see where kids are, it's always like low scores. So hopefully you still have a great break, but not as long, get back and get to learning.
Whichever one the board will vote on tonight. I would like to seeing data, the absentee of the teachers, if since they wanted to do this year round for their kids, breaks, grandkids, or whatever, I would like to make sure and do a comparison. Since you were saying that would allow them more time to maybe move around instead of rushing with the kids and all that kind of stuff. In other words, convenient for them. Because I want to make sure it's not just convenient for the faculty, but what about
I
the
think
parents
this
and the
is best
students?
for students and probably the parents too, because they're starting back to school earlier. They're getting back into a routine. We're hoping that they won't lose as much learning over the summer because they're starting back early.
Okay, well, when is the 178 days we have to, if they start back July the 24th, when is the
Students are 178
days, and they still get those days. No days are gonna be taken.
Teachers are 190 days.
School, the last day of school will be what on this year round that PPC actually wants the board to accept. They get out the same time, you said?
In June.
One more time on the start time. For the,
For students,
starts the
the
day,
24
the
teachers.
start of the day, the.
Oh, it's the time.
the time is still the same. We're not starting in there later.
Ms. Blankenship, what is your recommendation at this time?
The year-round calendar, start date of July 24th for students.
And then June or what?
One more question. Do you feel like this is gonna help with teacher retention with the neighboring schools switching to 1-day?
Year round?
Doing the year-round calendar would help with teacher retention?
No, I can answer that.
We're hoping that it will.
It's
You
not.
And we knew that the 4 days just was not a good option for us with everything that we have going on and so, go ahead.
I would like to just bring awareness to this as well. There's current legislation being talked about the 4-day weeks with the Arkansas state legislation. And you may see a bill that would eliminate the 4-day weeks statewide in the state of Arkansas. So I would just be cautious of us making a decision based on neighboring districts going to a 4-day week because they very well could soon be right back to a 5-day based on the legislation that's being.
But you're not talking to me, because I don't go to do what other folks do. I do what's right. Kids first, not right, but what's convenient for the parents, the kids, and the teachers.
And y'all heard from the parents on this as well?
No, you know they have. Can we wait? So what?
Go back to the.
It's a still 5. They're both 5 days. Neither 4. They're both 5 days.
Yeah.
And year round. That's the way.
Good.
We did ask. Yeah.
No, we did not do that. Everybody was.
We have two calendars, a traditional calendar and the year round. It is the recommendation of the interim superintendent, Ms. Blankenship, for the Blytheville School District to approve the year round calendar at this time. I will entertain a motion to accept the recommendation of Ms. Blankenship for the year round 25-26 school calendar.
I'm sorry, again, how? How soon do we have to?
You have some math and scheduling work that's tied to the approval of the.
What she
Yeah.
wants to do, she wants to get some feedback from the from the community, from the parents. They don't
Our
want that to get these
scheduling work
kids.
starts in February.
February what?
For some of these days, just kind of picked out as for every one of these days that the kids are off. Is there something connected to it or a reason why you picked that day? In the month where they're just off one or 2 days.
Like September for Labor Day with
Holiday.
the holidays, the regular holidays.
What about
In April,
like the third, the
Good
seventh?
Friday.
Good Friday.
Good Friday.
Okay, what about the 29th and 30th in September?
Labor Days. What other holidays?
so good.
Yeah, the first of the month. 29th.
With the teachers stuff.
No,
So it-
couldn't
The
figure it out.
recommendation.
29th and 30th is part of the fall break.
Part of the
Fall
fall
break.
breaks.
Okay, so their fall break is just gonna be the 2 days?
No.
No.
Look at October.
2 weeks.
It
It
is-
starts on
28th.
29th and ends on the 10th.
You mean tell me you want to give these kids and these teachers a fall break for 2 weeks? Is that what you said? Or do I need to look at it?
Yes.
It's fall break and spring break.
Yes,
I'm also waiting. 2 weeks for the spring break. What you been doing? 2 weeks for a fall break.
No, we've only been doing 1 week for spring break.
Oh, did I misunderstand you? August 29th is gonna be the start of fall break.
No.
No,
September
September
29th.
Okay, I got you. All right, then what is August 29th?
The day before that is what, professional?
Teacher
or
conference day.
Conference day.
Okay.
And that conference day is teachers only, not students.
It is August 28th. Okay, so.
And then the 29th is tied in with Labor.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
I make a motion, we accept year-round school. Action item.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second. All in favor of the recommendation for the year-round school year calendar, please signify by raising your right hand at this time. Motion carries. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, we'll go down to personnel recommendations. Is there any need to go into executive discussion at this time? I'll start with personnel recommendations under A, the resignation of our certified employees as listed. I'll entertain a motion to accept the resignation of certified employees, action item A.
Make a motion that we accept action item, personnel recommendations, A, resignation of certified employees.
Second.
It's been a motion and second. All in favor? The motion carries unanimously.
Who seconded it? For the record,
Ricky and Toby.
Ms.
Resident.
Jones made
Yes,
the
ma'am.
motion and Mr. Jefferson. Okay.
Okay, action.
No, Ricky made the motion.
Listen, Mr. Johnson second. Action item B. The waiver request for a classified employee. A few years ago, we approved a waiver request for an employee. They came back on true finding. That finding has since expired and will need to be renewed for that employee. That information is in your packet.
Will this, are we all familiar with this case?
Right.
Will
So-
this come up again next
In
year?
5
5 years.
Oh, in 5
5
years.
years.
Okay, do y'all wanna go ahead and make somebody make a motion?
Yes.
Please.
For
You got that.
I will read the. I will read for the board's information. Of the grant, the Board of Directors of the Blytheville School District hereby resolves that to. Grant a waiver under Arkansas Code annotated section 6-17-414 to Paul Fowler to allow his continued employment with the Blytheville School District, even though there is a true report in the Trial Maltreatment Central Registry based on the following circumstances. And we would have to circle all the facts and circumstances that apply in the grant waiver. And I will read those: the age at which the incident was committed, the circumstances surrounding the incident, the length of time since the incident, subsequent work history, employment reference, character references, and other evidence demonstrates that the applicant does not pose a threat to the health or safety of school children or school person. So at this time, we can grant it, then we will select one of the following.
Or all.
Or all,
And that's
yes.
what, I'm just gonna refresh everyone's memory, that you selected all
All
of
of
those
it.
when the matter came up 5 years ago.
Yes, okay,
Is this gonna come up every 5 years?
yes.
That's right. Every 5 years they required it.
So,
I'll make a motion that we accept Paul Fowler's waiver.
yes. Okay.
That
Where's
is
the
not-
request? Yes, that's fine.
And I would suggest you, for the same reasons you accepted it before.
I have a motion to accept the waiver request from Paul Fowler for the same reasons as listed before.
A second.
It has been second. All in favor, please signify by raising the right hand. Motion carries unanimous. And I will have the board will need to sign.
Okay, and,
Is there-
Mr. President, I have a question on there, if you allow me.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, any other
Till we
business,
sign, oh, okay, go ahead.
any other business that needs to come before the board at this time?
Okay, Ms. Blankenship.
Yes.
The training, last year we had a grant providing for the training that you all just completed. Did we have a grant this year?
We did not. We were able to pull it from our professional development funds.
Oh, I see.
For the district.
And
And if you want, we can do a presentation over the meetings and sessions that we went to.
The thing about it which is further down the road, is it normally the building principals and, they are mandatory, mandated to go, who else? What about the facilitators, the ones, some of the others that,
Well, the building principals depend on their SAMs, which is the person that schedules all of their observations and things like that. That's the person that pushes and makes sure that they're spending their day on instructional time and getting into classrooms.
so those.
And so they had different sessions, for them, and then the principals had their own.
So therefore, we definitely the principals look at those people and make sure they go through the training. I mean, yes, okay, that was.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Want to make sure of that, and I want to make sure I saw in the budget what you just said. I know last year we had a grant, and that was my question. It was brought to me from to ask that question. I don't hear. Is it in Miami every year or? is it-
No, they go different places. I
Okay.
don't have anything for them.
Uh, if- is there any more information that needs to be presented or that come
Well,
before the board at this time?
tomorrow, the board will be touring the Academy Matheson in Little Rock.
Yeah.
And I will be going along with, Ms. Aldridge from the elementary school, and she's here, she has a parental involvement activity at her building, so I think she has something to give to you all as well. So she and myself and two of her teachers will be leaving out in the morning, and we'll meet up with you guys at the school.
What time? That's at 9.
11 a.m.
11. So we'll be leaving here.
Yeah, just for the public and the community to be aware of, the board will travel as well, to the Academy of Math and Science. It's a new school that's in Little Rock. Mrs. Langston and myself, had the opportunity to visit this school in December. They're doing some good things. Their district is similar to ours. So we're going to capture best practices, just see different models and different strategies that are there. We may be welcomed or greeted to meet with the Secretary, Jacob Oliva, and Dr. Stacy Smith. They may be there. I'm not sure, depending on legislature, they're in session right now. So we will also have an ASBA board training on Saturday, January the 25th in Little Rock. The board will meet to go through some of the practices and strategies of board members with the ASBA team and legal advice and different people that work with the ASBA. So
What about, when are we gonna ever, all the board members can be available to have a retreat? Because I don't want the ASBA or the AAEA to be in our retreat with that. That's just like a nerve, learning stuff that you should get that, like Ms. Lewis in the beginning of a new board member training. You know what I'm saying? That's something that we need to look so we can be each other on one accord, you know, and that's what we can have time to.
talk about.
We need to do that. See, that was confusing. We had started out with, then we got this ASBA one, it's a people with us. I mean, you know, you know. Somebody has to train.
Tammy Rick.
See, that's what started it out, but again, I thought I read something about she would. I thought.
That's for the AMS visit to the school tomorrow.
That's what the two.
Yeah.
She won't be.
But I was we need to go together on the street.
Okay.
Whenever that's available.
Well, we've been in talks of a retreat. There's some other information that will come to the board in our next regular scheduled meeting. And that is one thing that I've been talking to Blankenship about for the board.
Okay, and also, about reminding the board members of the, session, because that's important for the, who can attend. Some of this legend, further explaining it just briefly, Mr. Hammond. It's February the 7th.
The seventh, the law seminar. We're registered for it.
Registered for it. Did you, my question, did you all register before the deadline?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's another thing that I want to discuss in this retreat. I noticed about this budget or something that I'm spending more money. We need to make sure you should know whether or not you're going or not being negative or fussing. But it's important for the way to district funding. That way we can get together sometime maybe and ride with each other. No, that's money. But you hear what I say?
Yes, ma'am.
Need to, you know you're going or not.
I'm going. If there's no other business coming for the Blytheville Board of Directors, this meeting is officially adjourned. Thank you.
Okay.